Hello and welcome to Super Saiyan's Knife Rust Watch 2014. I'm just going to go through a few of my knives and talk about how they've kind of coped over the past few months with the change of the weather. You get mould in your windows, and your condensation, your knives are cold, where you keep your knives probably be cold as well. So I'm just going to go through a selection of my knives and how they've kind of performed. I kind of got the inspiration of doing this video by watching my Serge Panchenko Spyderco dog tag folder review, and I think I wasn't really harsh on it. I think it was quite true, which is what I try and be with all my knife reviews, because I keep reiterating it. Don't get paid to do this. I don't get knives sent to me. This is all off my own back. So this knife here. This is the Serge Panchenko dog tag folder. I think the opinion was quite divided on this in terms of its usefulness and things. I've used it quite a number of times. I just take it off my neck and then deploy it and then use it, whatever. Absolutely fine. But I think I mentioned that the rust, there were a few speckles of rust. Looking really closely, there still are a still like one or two tiny little bits of rust, specks of rust. And what had happened is I actually fell asleep with it on, and fallen asleep like overnight, and I think that must have affected it somehow. Well, I'm very happy to say that I then sprayed it, and I'll be going through a few of my sprays. Not that one, this one. I sprayed it with some silicone lubricant. And since then it's never rusted, hasn't got any worse, and I've worn this for months now. Go and check out the date of when I put that review. So I'm glad to say that the rust hasn't got any worse and it's been protected, and I've worn this a lot more than I had. I think I'd literally only had the knife a few days and it developed some. So there you go, you can turn around knives, and I wear this every day, use it every day. So that's kind of like my update on that knife, because I think the review kind of touched upon, you wear it around your neck or you wear it close to your body, you should really have H1, let's face it, because then you could sleep with it, swim with it, whatever. But anyway, that's my point, that's my update. Hasn't rusted anymore, it's absolutely fine. Another knife that I'm very impressed with is another Spyderco. Spydercos, I've never really seen them rust. I saw a guy that had lost a Spyderco knife in a wood pile, and over a year and a bit later he found it, and there were literally like a couple of spots of rust, if that, on it, and that had gone through the whole winter. So anyway, sorry about the finger marks on this, but this is the Super Blue sprint run of last year, and the Super Blue steel is actually very prone to rusting. It's quite, I say porous, it's probably the wrong word, but it would like to rust if you gave it the chance. But obviously, spray it, you coat it, look after it, and this has been excellent. I haven't seen any rust on it, so that's an excellent kind of upbeat report on that knife. The Tenacious, which is what I base a lot of knives on, because it's got everything that you could really want and need, and it's such a value kind of package. Everything is where it should be. I don't have my Rubicon on me. I suppose I should have, but just the disengaging of the lock there. Notice that there's a cutout. It's a lot easier to disengage. Well, the Rubicon doesn't have that, and I've kind of been missing that on it. But the Tenacious, along with all their other Chinese-made knives, that goes the same for the Bird, which essentially is Spyderco anyway. No rust on this 8CR 13 MOV. No speckles of rust. It's really lasted excellently. Really quite impervious, really. So that's great. Even something that I use often as well, out and about, in my pocket, the clip tool. That's China made 8CR, no rust, not even on their scissors. So that's pretty cool. So there you go. That was that's kind of like an overview of Spyderco. And another knife that I use every day, the Spy DK with the N690 CO. You wouldn't really expect this to rust anyway, but this one, no rust whatsoever, and I use that often in quite wet environments too. So Spyderco on the whole this year, absolutely great, no issues whatsoever. And then we come to some other knives from other manufacturers, such as, is it Chill? No, it's Kershaw Cryo, my apologies. The rust has more or less stayed the same. I can't really get that out, and it's just all along there. So just bear that in mind if you're thinking about getting a Cryo. It will rust. And I've said it many times, I don't live in a jungle where it's really humid and there's a lot of moisture. And likewise, it's not really that cold where I live. So it's just really, really porous. That is probably the word in this, you know, in this instance. In that it just really, you know, likes to rust. It's quite a shame. But the other Kershaws, like this Wonton, there's a little bit of surface rust in places, but on the whole, it's been okay. And actually, commendations to this Skyline. I know people dig that knife quite a lot. That's absolutely fine too. So Kershaw, they can have a few issues, but. And then finally, Burkas. All my other Burkas are fine. If you're wondering why I'm pronouncing it Burka, just type in Burka on the internet and, you know, listen to a German guy say it. That is how you say it. The O is there's two little dots above it. That's an umlaut. And just so that you knew that. Anyway, the steel, a little bit of surface rust. I suppose I really should spray this. But it's the only knife from Burka that has got that on there. So Burka, not too bad either, but Spyderco again winning in this rust kind of war that we're having. So what do I do to keep them kind of rust free, rust proof, protect them? Well, I use a number of things. Oh, I should really put them like that. If they're particularly bad, like the Cryo, I'll spray them with WD-40. This is just like a small can, but I do have a large one somewhere else. I'll spray it with that and leave it for a couple of hours, then wipe it off thoroughly, and then I'll probably put some of this silicone lubricant on. And what it does is it rapidly dries, it protects against moisture, and it's essentially for, you can put it on metals, plastics and wood actually, this silicone lubricant, so it's really, really great stuff. You can use that if you want, but the silicone lubricant is probably a better way to go. But there you go. So first coat, WD-40, leave it an hour, a couple of hours, however long you've got, and then completely clean off that WD-40, and then use one of these oil kind of lubricants to give it that coating, to give it that protection. Other things I'll use this Blue Lube, and I've used it on the Rubicon as well, and it's a lot smoother than it was. Doesn't matter what washes you have, doesn't matter if you've got ball bearings, put some of this in it and it'll make it, you know, super smooth. This wasn't that smooth when I got it, but put a little bit of Blue Lube in and it's just super fast, super smooth, and yeah, I recommend the lube. It's really strange that Spyderco themselves haven't released any lube products. I wish they did. I'd be all over that, but hey, they might do. So that's kind of like my little rust watch update. I like to do these little videos where I, you know, talk about the rust and what's happening on my knives, because if there is anything serious, that's great, because then it's, you know, quickly brought to everybody's attention, and you all know, you'll all then see which knives are more prone, and having all of this information from someone that uses knives a lot. And you'll be able to either compare that to your own knife set and your collection, or it might help you in deciding which to buy. Anyway, I've waffled on far too long. Thanks ever so much for watching today. Thanks for joining me. If you do have any suggestions or any comments, put them down below, and thanks again. Take care.